Well, welcome everyone. I want to thank those of you who came out in this weather to be here, and those of you who are watching online. So before we do anything else, just to let you know, if you're not in this part of Florida, uh, we've had some really bad weather in the last hour or so, especially, and there have been little power flickers and stuff. So just so you know, if we lose the stream, there's not a heck of a lot we can do about it. But hopefully, I think the worst of the storm has blown over for now. So hopefully we'll be all right. So we'll get started. So maybe we'll be through before we lose everything. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Please stand. Three bows. The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present. It fills our space, guards our minds from wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense unites us with virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. We offer it on behalf of all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for refuge. Being one with the Buddha, I resolve to each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for refuge. being one with the Dharma. The gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for refuge. Being one with the Sangha, in the spirit of universal fellowship, and as a member of the Sangha, I pledge to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. Metta prayer. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. So we'll do a 20-minute silent meditation tonight. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now. In reciting the sutras, hearing the Dharma, and training the mind, great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. Let their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for the health and well-being of those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, and those ministering to the sick and the grieving. We pray for those suffering from violence, for the oppressed, for the imprisoned, and all refugees. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. Sabbe sata sadahantu avera sukha jivino katang punya phalang maihang sabbe bhagi bhavantu te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings springing from the good I have done. So I'm going to read you something. This is by Koyo Kabose from his book, Bright Dawn. And just for background, his father founded Buddhist Temple of Chicago in the 1940s, 1945, I believe, after the family had been released from the Heart Mountain Internment Center, I think is what they called it. One of the places where, during the Second World War, the U.S. government evacuated Japanese families. And after the war was over, a lot of Japanese people went to Chicago. And so Gome Kabose, Koyo's father, founded the Buddhist Temple of Chicago. Anyway, so it says, shoes not only symbolize one's life's journey, but shoes literally make it possible to make that journey. Shoes protect our feet. I always try to respect my shoes. Some people take off their shoes and casually throw them around. I line up my shoes neatly, side by side. My father was famous for telling generations of Sunday school children, when you take off your shoes, thank them. Your shoes protected your feet all day, never complaining. He would tell the children to pat their shoes and say, thank you, my little shoes. When some of these children grew up and came back to visit my father's temple, they would often mention this teaching of thanking their shoes. One young man told how he was thinking about this teaching when he was in basic training after being drafted into the Army. He was sitting on his bunk bed, shining his boots, when a soldier in the next bunk yelled, "Hey, this guy is talking to his shoes." Another man dying of cancer told me, "One thing in my life that I'm grateful for is that I met your father 40 years ago. And yes, I'm also grateful for my shoes." One wouldn't think that such a simple teaching, like thanking one's shoes, would have such a profound effect on people. Gratitude for such little things shows how intimate relationships are possible through mindful awareness. I know a runner who just can't throw away his old shoes. In his car trunk are dozens of old running shoes. His shoes are like old friends to him. Another runner periodically conducts a gratitude service for his old shoes before he donates them away. Services like this for things used in daily living are common in the East. For example, once a year, the seamstresses in Japan gather all their broken needles and have a service to express their gratitude. Needles are crucial to the livelihood of a seamstress. Broken needles are not casually discarded or taken for granted. Gratitude services deepen awareness of our interdependency with not just other people, but with inanimate objects. This opens up a new level of respect and communication. I pause to bend down and pat my shoes. I see details in the designs on my shoes as if for the first time. Patting my shoes in gratitude before going out for a run is a spiritual practice for me. Being grateful to one's shoes or to some other particular thing always goes beyond whatever one is being thankful for. One becomes more aware of being grateful in general. One becomes a grateful person. So I read you that because as some of you know, no doubt by now, Reverend Kabose passed away Monday. His family contacted some of us, and then we've been trying to get the word out to the Bright Dawn community about it. He died unexpectedly from natural causes, and there'll be a memorial probably later in the spring. I'll fill you in on those things as plans develop. Not really much more to say at this point. So, I'm sure that we and a lot of other communities will do our own services and acknowledgments of Reverend Kabose, and there'll be a lot of eulogizing of him, I'm sure, in the coming months. So I'm not going to do that tonight. But I do want you all to have a sense of why this is significant to you. Not in a historical sense, not, in the sense of Buddhism as a big grand thing, although I'll probably talk about that a little bit tonight. But in terms of how this is significant to this particular community, so I just want to let you know who Reverend Kabose is to you, and your Dharma ancestry. So, this group was founded actually by someone else almost 20 years ago now. And, I didn't found it. Somebody else did. And then about a year later, they put me in charge. And I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But I ended up with the keys to the church. And so people would look at me and say, and ask me questions and assume, that since I had unlocked the building to let people in, that I would be able to help them. And so I decided I better try to get some formal training. And by the time I got involved with Reverend Kabose and the Bright Dawn, what was then the Bright Dawn Institute for American Buddhism, that's what it was when I got involved. I had already done a temporary ordination in the Thai order. I'd been doing the prison Dharma work and had been I've been opening the door for this community for a few years. And I felt, and really largely because of the prison Dharma, I felt the need to be a chaplain or some other form of clergy in order to do some of the things that clergy can do, like have confidential conversations and refuge ceremonies and things like that. And so someone that I knew on social media, I think it was on MySpace, actually, that's how long ago this was talking about how their teacher was so smart. And so I asked her, what is this teacher you're talking about? And so by way of her, ended up being introduced to Bright Dawn. And talking on the phone, I think, to Reverend Kabose, because I hadn't heard about it. I didn't know anything about Shin Buddhism, which is sort of what it was based on. And so that's kind of how it all started. After I talked to a few people who had been through the program, which I'll explain in a minute, I thought, well, it sounds like it might not be a bad thing. The price was right. It was by donation. Uh, so, and it wouldn't involve, so I looked at some chaplaincy programs, and they would have involved like going to New York City frequently or relocating to New Mexico for a period of time or something. None of these things were practical for me, but I could do this Bright Dawn thing. And so and I'm really glad that I did, because it really changed the way I approached Buddhist practice in a major way. And the reason that I picked that particular reading about the shoes is a very good example of that. So, Bright Dawn was founded by Reverend Kabose and his father, Gyomay Kabose. His father had retired from his duties at Buddhist Temple of Chicago, and Reverend Koyo was kind of headed in that direction, and so they founded Bright Dawn. And their idea at the time was that there would eventually be a Western or American form of Buddhism. Because, as Buddhism spread from northern India through the world, it took different shapes, evolved quite a bit. And so they said, well, now it's here. It will take on this shape here. And, in Buddhist Temple of Chicago, although I haven't been there, I've known some people there and stuff. I mean, I think that's a pretty good example. It was originally a Japanese temple in a Japanese neighborhood with Japanese members. And now I think almost everything that they do is done in English, and, it's probably as much English speakers there, American-born convert Buddhists and people like that there as cultural Japanese people. Probably about like White Sands is now with regard to the Vietnamese population. But they just decided that there should be a way for people like me to move into sort of clergy type positions in the Dharma. And so they put together a curriculum and started having these 2-year sort of seminary school type programs. And so I did the third one. We're up to 15 now. I think 6 people were inducted when I did mine. The 15 has 3 cohorts, and I think each cohort has 6 to 8 people in it. So I was trying to think about this today, like how many people have done this Bright Dawn program now. And it's probably, I'd say probably around 150. You were LM what? 11A? And you were in the same one. And Anthony also, was he in yours? Or he was in the one after 12? And Pia was 12. So I think there's been about 10 people, not counting me, who have done Bright Dawn that were associated one way or another with our community, including some people in Palatka and some people who were in the area and kind of visited us and talked to me about it. So I think 10, maybe 12, Central Florida people because of this. So, it's very significant as far as how we practice Buddhism. One of the nice things about Bright Dawn is that, which actually kind of frustrated me with it at first, because I would go, okay, what's our liturgy? Whatever you do. Well, should we look at like Zen stuff? I mean, Jodo Shinshu stuff? Can we do some Theravada stuff? Yeah, whatever. So, when you get to the understand that really it's about making the Dharma accessible to people, regardless of tradition. It starts to make sense. Different communities, different groups of people come together around, drawn by different things. There's this the story that there's 84,000 Dharma gates. You only have to go through one of them, and you're through all of them. But 84,000 Dharma gates. Well, this is one of them right here, and the one next door could look very different than this one. But there are all ways to access the Dharma. So anyway, so it's, like I said, as the months progress, we will be hearing a lot more about Reverend Kabose, I'm sure. And we may do, normally I would do a 7-day service or a 49-day service or both. So I kind of think I should run these things by the family before I do anything that's going to be like publicly available on YouTube. So I'll do that, but we can talk about what our ideas are and what we feel like we should do, as a community to come around together around the passing of a teacher that many of us have been directly affected by, and that, even if you never heard of Reverend Kabose before right now, if you're listening to me talk or coming to our services, you've been affected by his teachings. So anyway, that was mostly what I wanted to tell you about tonight, about him, and there will be more to come as time goes on. So, did either of you want to say anything or any questions, anything you want to ask, any comments you want to make about your Bright Dawn experience? The mic is over there if you want it.
I know that we're going to do something more formal in the future, so I'll kind of organize my thoughts better. But I would be remiss not to just mention it. It was, I was glad that I had the opportunity to come tonight to share with people that also knew him. My wife has met him. We were received into his house like we're an old family. My kids played on his floor and ate food with him. So it was more than just a minister program or anything like that. It's part of a family. It really, really is. And I think that Morris laying the groundwork, Sensei, and we're thankful for that, kind of gave Brandon, myself, Tony, Pia, so many of us an opportunity to become part of a lineage, but understanding what that lineage really means beyond just words of just being a family, I guess is what I would say. So it's affected me deeply, and it's something that I want to be able to show gratitude for. He's a lot more, his teachings are a lot more than a pair of sneakers, but I think that that's a really good point to, sometimes we take for granted all these little things that people have given us along the ways that are special and important and really cornerstones to our lives. And Koyo Sensei is definitely a cornerstone. So I'll be thinking about it more, and I'll try to organize my thoughts a little bit more concisely for...
That's okay. Somebody just stuck a mic in your hand and said talk, so you're not expected to be waxing eloquently.
But no, I appreciate the opportunity to share. I really do, because, like I said, I woke up very early to the news, and I was dumbstruck, I guess is the best way to put it. So thank you for the chance to say something.
I mean, kind of following up with what Neil was saying, our experience in the Bright Dawn program was, it did kind of feel like a family in a way. And it was interesting how Koyo Kabose always had a presence in the meeting, even though he wasn't in every single meeting. You know, you could see how he had influenced every single teacher who he had along the way. And there's just something about his presence that just kind of makes you smile. Like when you're around, when you just think of him or see an image of him or anything, it just kind of makes you kind of smile. And I had mentioned it to my wife, who doesn't directly know who Koyoko Bose is specifically, but she has heard vicariously through me about him and stuff. And even before the news of his passing, she even recognized, like, just seeing his picture, like in a book or something, just his essence, like, oh man, that guy just seems so nice. Like, he seems so inviting. Like, how is that the case, But one last thing I'll say about Koyoko Bose is he could talk about anything, and before you knew it, out popped some teaching. And you're like, where did that come from? But every little thing, a joke or him talking about one topic and then switching gears, all of a sudden there was this really profound thing that he had to say. And it was kind of cool just to see those teachings as they popped up, I guess I'll just end on one thing. I think one thing, and you kind of mentioned the shoe story, but I think through his teachings and through the Bright Dawn program, I truly learned what gratitude was. I know we had done Nikon before, and we did Nikon and Bright Dawn as well, but just going through the program and interacting with his teachings, it was just the feeling of like, this is what is truly meant by gratitude. Gratitude for everyday objects, gratitude for other people, gratitude for other sentient beings. And so I'm grateful for those teachings on gratitude. So I think that's where I'll stop for right now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have had some amazing teachers in my life, and he was, certainly one of the most significant of those. And I'm not going to try to put them in order according to which ones I like the best or anything like that. But if I did, he would be up there. Because he was, as you said, he was one of those people that really just affected you. My favorite photo of him, I posted on Facebook, and he's actually scowling. I think it was outdoors, and where you're inducted is back then. I don't know. Now it may be in the retreat center. That's like a temple on the property, but back then there was this big boulder, like huge boulder, like 2 stories high, on the grounds, and that's where the induction was. Is that where it was when you guys were inducted? Yeah. Oh, you had. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we actually did it like at the boulder, and so it was sunny, and so he's standing there in the sun, and I think Michelle, it was my induction. Michelle shot the photo, and so it's the high contrast on his face because of the sun, and he's kind of scowling, probably because of the sun in his eyes. But even scowling, he looks like this really nice guy who's scowling. There's just something kind of weird about that. It seems just, he's very serious, but in a very compassionate way. And one of the things that, I feel really fortunate that I got to spend the kind of time with him that I did, because I was out there, I think 4 times, including this last one. So I was just there a few months ago. And you'd talk to him, and he'd be processing what you were saying. He'd kind of lean back with his eyes closed for a minute. And you knew it was like, and you knew what was going to come out was going to be really profound, because he'd closed his eyes. It was, well, it just, and yet, this is one of the coolest things about him is that he he pretty much he never took credit for teaching the Dharma, and in fact, he would caution us, don't think about teaching the Dharma. Don't preach the Dharma. Never preach the Dharma. You say, I'll tell people who want me to teach them, well, let's study this together, And that's such a good way, I think, of approaching the Dharma. And I've, in last couple of years especially, I've been really trying to convey that to people that, I can't teach you anything, we just practicing this together, that's something I definitely got from him. So anyway, it is almost 8 o'clock, so we should say the great vows. But thank you all so much for being here and for being a part of this community, which really honors the legacy of Bright Dawn and Reverend Kabose. Creations are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless, I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable, I vow to embody it. Friends, I respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time swiftly passes by and opportunity is lost. Each of us must strive to awaken. Awaken! Take heed. Do not squander this life. And stand for the vows. The teacher. To the Sangha. Thank you all very much.